We're back. We are back here on Rogers TV, instigating with Clarkie and Drury. I'm Drury. That's Clarkie. And man, oh man, like we promised last week, there was a lot going on in sports over the weekend. But like we promised, we have a special guest this week. He's a good friend of the show. We're going to bring him in here in just a second, Clarkie. But man, oh man, what'd you think of the opening week of NFL football? We'll touch on that a little later, but I don't think you were happy with your two new teams.
Well,
right?
listen. The bottom line is it was a heck of a weekend for games and excitement. And
so good.
Did my teams lose? Did I go 0-2? Yes, I did. However, I still think they're on a collision course to beat in the Super Bowl. You may think the Packers. I still think the Lions. But we will have to wait and see. But what games? Like that Bills, we'll talk about more of it later. What a game. Like there's no doubt it was an unbelievable game.
Insane game. And remember though, I did pick your Lions to win the Super Bowl.
You did.
Over those Bills a little later.
You
so
did.
we'll see if both your teams are there in the bowl at the end of it.
That's true. Yep.
And that's always a big event on the sports calendar. We all love football. It's back. We all love the Super Bowl when we get there, but that's a long way away.
And what a time right now for sports. Like it's ramping up. We got NFL full force. We got Major League Baseball, the Jays rolling. And in a couple weeks, we got the Ryder Cup.
Absolutely. The Ryder Cup. We love when it's on the schedule. And listen, when we talk about golf on this program, and our new viewers on Rogers are going to learn this quickly, there's a gentleman that we like to turn to, a longtime professional golfer, longtime golf instructor at the Doig Golf Academy. This is a guy you turn to when you want good opinions on the game, and he's a guy you turn to if you want to fix your game, as Clarkie can attest.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage our friend, Doig. Mr. Doig.
Hello, mate. Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. I'm even getting a golf clap.
You are? I haven't heard one of those in a while, I bet.
Hey.
Yes, he has.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
Starting it out hard, apparently.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Absolutely terrible start from Clarkie there. Doigy, and you know that's not true because Doigy has been lighting it up. He's adding to the trophy case. It keeps getting heavier. It's an unbelievable. You've had a great last couple summers here, Mr. Doig.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. I seem to keep getting lucky or something here and there, but I've picked up a couple more wins this summer. One in the senior division and one in the regular division. So to be able to beat the kids is lots of fun. So yeah, a couple more trophies to add to the. I think that gets me up to a little bit of a brag, but I think that's 38 wins as a professional now. So yeah, a little pat on my back. I like that.
That's good. So, no, you deserve it. And you have some exciting news where you're going in the future.
Yeah, when I left Seaforth in whatever year that was, 1979, 1980, I never ever thought that 45 years later I'd still be playing golf all over the world and winning tournaments and getting paid. So yeah, It's been kind of cool.
It's amazing.
As Clarkie alluded to, speaking of playing golf around the world, which you've done, you've been all over the place. And that's going to continue pretty soon here. You have a pretty loaded calendar coming up, not only into the fall here, but into the new year as well. Share with everybody what you're going to be up to because you're going down under, brother.
I am. But before I even do that, I'm heading off to Quebec next week for the Senior Open, Quebec Senior Open. So that's next week. Then I get back for a few days, and then I'm off to Ireland for a week to play some golf, and then I get back from Ireland.
Don't talk about Ireland.
I was looking for somebody to go with me, Ryan, and but anyway.
Yeah, sure you were.
Clark, he had his hand up right away, but no, I'm off to Ireland, and then I get back from Ireland. I'm only home for 5 days, and then I'm off to Australia. Fortunately, I played down in Australia last year and played pretty well in a couple of big events, and they've invited me back for this year. So I'm going to go play in those, and I'll come home for Christmas, spend some Christmas time, and then head back down to Australia in January, and I'll be there for probably until April for sure, and probably into May.
What's the biggest differences playing down there or is it here?
Money.
Well, no, but okay, that's fine. That's good. I hear you. But
They play for a lot. They play for a lot more money down there than we do up here.
Well, that's
in Ontario.
good. Hopefully,
so
you
that's
bring
a good thing.
some back. But what about the game?
You know what? It's not that much different.
No.
You know, when I head down in October, we're getting into their summer. So the golf courses get pretty firm and fast. So we call that hard, where they play hard and fast. So the golf ball is bouncy. It runs a long way. It can get funny bounces, kind of like link style golf, which that's actually very good for me. The more difficult the golf courses play, the better I seem to be able to kind of grind it out there and get into contention. So I think that's why I played well there last year. I'm looking forward to getting back. I get to play in the New South Wales Senior Open and the Australian Senior PGA Championship. So 2 big ones. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Absolutely, brother. And that's going to be so much fun for you. I would say, you know, a big difference are, you know, the snakes and spiders that are hanging around down there. But, you know, I'm sure that those won't bother you too much on the court. I feel like we've maybe asked you this before. I mean, we've certainly asked you some of the crazier things that you've seen involving fellow players on the course. What's the wildest like wildlife situation you've run into on the course? Do you ever just like have a bear run out there or what? Like, what's the deal?
Oh yeah. So back in the 80s, we used to have a show on, I think it was CBC. Ernie Afghani's was the host of it. It was called Par 27, and we filmed it in Kananaskis every year for about 4 or 5 years, and it was a match play, one player against another player, but we were playing. We would hit 3 bunker shots, 3 pitch shots, short game shots, and 3 par 3s. So par 27. And I was on the par 3 getting ready to hit, and the director who was standing on the tee with me said, "Ian, just stand still. Don't move. Don't make any sudden gestures or anything." And I'm like looking at him like, what's going on? And I looked over my left shoulder, and about 15 feet behind me was a great big black bear just wandering up across the tee deck as I was about to hit. And they didn't want me to hit in case it startled the bear. And he just kind of looked at me and wandered off and down into the river at Kananaskis Country Club. Yeah, that was pretty funny. That was pretty scary. But in Malaysia one year, we played a golf course out in Ipoh, which is a 6-hour drive through the middle of the jungle. And we get out there and we're registering, and the guy we were registering with looked at us and said, "If you hit it in the trees, don't go look for it." And I'm like, "Well, I'm going to look for it. I mean, that could cost me money." And he said, no, you don't understand. You don't go look for golf balls here. And I said, "Why is that?" And he said, "Because the trees here are infested with king cobras." And later on that day,
that's a good club, isn't it?
Yeah. Later on that day in the practice round, I'm wandering down this one fairway, and I heard a noise over in the trees, and I started paying attention. There was a little old Malaysian guy. He looked like he was 120, and he came out, and I started talking to him, and he had a burlap sack bag in his hand and a stick with a hook on it in the other hand. And I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm catching snakes." And he opened up the burlap sack bag, and he had 8 or 9 king cobras sitting in the bottom of this bag.
Oh my gosh.
I hit it very, very straight that week. I had
a
good week. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So that's another one. I mean, there's all kinds of them. You'd be surprised at the stuff that you see, especially when I was playing in Asia, right? Places like Pakistan and India and Indonesia and Thailand and Malaysia, Singapore. I mean, kimono dragons in Singapore walking across the fairways while you're playing. I mean, just crazy stuff. Yeah. Lots of fun.
And now, and the only thing I worry about is ticks now.
Yeah, everybody worries about ticks, and rightfully so, right?
You got to check.
You got to check, and just that's reason enough never to hit it in the rough.
I played in Niagara last year, 2-day event. I like saying event because it makes me feel like I'm really good at golf. 2-day event that I won, and 2 of the guys back at the hotel that night found ticks on them.
Oh yeah, you got to watch that stuff, man. That's something that people don't often talk about. You know, if you
Dougie, you muted your microphone, Dougie. I don't know how
he's back.
Done that.
He's coming back.
Still muted.
We'll get him. I will say this: you do got to absolutely be very, very careful when you're golfing, because people don't often consider that. There he is. He's back.
Yeah,
He
I don't know
figured
what
it out.
happened. Yeah, you know.
Hey, it's
we're just happy we
live.
can see you.
Come on.
Hey, next computer I buy will be a MacBook.
Good.
Oh, okay.
Wise decision.
Welcome to the family, man.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something that people don't often consider. Like, you got to watch, man. Tick's a serious thing. You don't want to pick up Lyme, man. It's
no,
it's not fun. All right.
Doig, what do you think?
A friend of mine years ago got it. He was a PGA golf professional, and
it's not good.
After that, he really struggled. Never played good again.
Doig, what do you think of our new background and font?
Yeah, I'm liking it. The only thing that's missing is Clarkey and Drury and Doig.
That's right.
Well,
and as Dave Poulin said to me once when I said, "Do you need an e-bug goalie?" He goes, "We have your number, Clarkey. Don't worry." I never got the call.
Never got the call.
Never got the call.
That wasn't
I'll
the response.
I'll maybe work on a couple sponsors or something, and then maybe I can get.
There you go. If you bring sponsors to the table, now we're talking.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're talking.
Maybe a couple of my sponsors, maybe Levelwear Clothing or Square Shoes.
Bobby Els. I know Bobby.
Doigy.
You can say hi to Bobby Els at Levelwear and let's get going here.
All right.
You can see the logo behind Clarkey that Clarkey did not design. We confirmed that. Amanda. Of course, Amanda did it.
Yeah. Doigy golfed with Amanda last week.
Yeah,
that's good. Hey, that's good, and I bet you she's pretty good.
It won't be long before she's beating Clarkey.
I fully believe that.
I'm not shocked, although there's a sim in play now, and we'll talk about that. But you do see the logo. There's room at the bottom. There's room at the bottom there under the Drury, Doig. So you never know.
There is room.
You never know.
Well, so we can always make anything happen, right?
We have to make your Leaf comment sound smart, though. What do you think of this team heading into the season?
Well,
we're already sidetracked.
We have time.
It's the same way I felt every year since 1968.
No, it's got to be different this year.
I'm ready. We're gonna win. This is our year. I've already gone down to Bay Street and tied my chair to a post so that I get a front row seat for the parade next June.
Okay.
Right. So my chair is already down there. But you know what? I still think we got to make a couple more tweaks. But I like what they've done. I mean, obviously you're not going to, me, I'm not a Marner fan. It's going to be hard to replace all those points. But the fact that at the end of the year, he's a +3 after getting 100 points. I mean, I'd rather have 4 guys at +17 than 1 guy at +3. So that's kind of the way I look at him.
Yeah.
Well, they've got they got some room to hopefully add some depth to that roster.
Camp starts next week, I think. So
oh, it's crazy, right?
Yep.
I don't love the way that the rest of the roster looks, but we'll see. They've still got some high end scoring potential, but I don't love that top. I mean, do you love your bottom 6, Clarkey? I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I think they're better.
Like what I see.
I think they're better. They were 1 game away from beating the Stanley Cup champs in the playoffs. So let's see what happens this year. They were 1 game away. They were the only team to take them to 7 games.
And the other thing I like too, we're going into year 2 with Berube. I think a lot of little things like that, are going to change. And at the trade deadline, we'll make a move.
Well, they have the room to do that now.
Right, exactly.
I think it might even come
big move will be next July 1st. We all know what's going to happen.
All right, God, we can't do that right now. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Apparently, there's some guy from the West coming east.
Some oil guy. An oil bear, and I heard. I will say, I don't know, man. The way they lost that game 7, I think they lost by 1.5 games in that game.
They still took them to 7. They still took them to 7.
Yeah,
6.5.
6.5. 5.5 because they.
I'm calling it.
They didn't know.
Whatever.
Oh my God. Show off.
So we're talking a little bit about
that. It was, Marner crying and yelling at his teammates. And,
all right. Well,
that was the end for him. The minute he did that, that was the end for him.
No kidding.
Yeah.
There was a lot of ends for him.
Yeah.
It's
but don't abuse him. Don't yell at him. Don't show up at his house. He doesn't like that.
No one should do that ever.
No, ever. That's just
like
wrong.
stuff.
I agree, but like all of a sudden he's bringing this crap up. Like, give me a break.
Well, I mean, it's valid though. Like, let's not, Clarkey. Come on, dude. Like, let's be adults here. come on.
I am being
like if somebody.
This is the same guy who tried to get people fired.
Okay, but all that aside,
screwing around with their lives.
Like, all that aside, though. Okay, I understand that, but it still doesn't make it right that people are doing stuff in his personal. Like, that's not what we want to see with these athletes.
Let him just go play hockey. Let him play hockey.
How come we didn't hear about it when it happened right afterwards? How come we didn't hear about it then? Because nothing happened. No one showed up at his house. He hired a security guard. Great. Congratulations. Are you broke?
I would just assume that they didn't want to make a big deal of it when it was going on. And far be it for me to say that the guy is making stuff up. Like, we have an epidemic right now.
I'm not saying he made it
up. Getting DM'd online because they screwed up a guy's parlay. Like, it's crazy what people are doing with these pro athletes. Like, I understand why none of them want to show up at stuff half the time.
How about that Argentine soccer player a few years ago got shot when he missed the free kick?
That's happened a few times. The Colombian guy back in the day, and
Escobar
had money on it. Phillies can't. Yeah, the baseball lady.
She's lost her job apparently.
Yeah. Well,
really? Did you hear that?
I heard that. I don't know if it's true or not.
I heard it. Same with the guy that did the a few weeks before that. There was the guy did something stupid, and he was a bigwig and a CEO of a company.
The guy that took the hat at the U.S. Open.
The Coldplay concert guy.
He's not talking about.
And then there's that guy too, right? That got caught in an affair.
That's a little different. That was at a concert, but yes, I understand. All I'm saying is
the guy that took the hat.
The guy that took the hat at the U.S. Open.
At the U.S. Open.
Yeah, and he took it from the kid. Yeah, it's goofy stuff, dude. I did see with the Phillies Karen lady that there are bets right now on a number of different betting sites of whether or not she will lose her job. You can bet yes or no. I think yes is like plus 220 or something.
What has this world come to, though, that we're betting on
whether she loses her job because of that? Well, unless there's some ethics contract.
I don't think she should lose her job.
Neither do I.
But like,
she
may have trouble finding another one in the future if she ever quits her job.
Right.
Put it that way.
Yeah, she shouldn't lose her job, but you know what?
No.
She shouldn't have done that. You know what? Let's all admit she looked like a stupid ass. And she's paying the price, but she shouldn't lose her job.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous.
No, let's calm down here. However, I do agree that in the court of public opinion, she deserves the little bit of a beating up she's taking.
100%.
Absolutely.
You're being a moron. Like that.
Steal a ball from a kid. And the guy got it rightfully so. Like, he didn't do anything wrong. That's the worst part about it. Anyway.
He was rolling along around on the ground when he grabbed
it up. Exactly.
He didn't jump. Now, if there had been a bunch of people in the row beside him, which there weren't, he went over there unobstructed, he jumped over top of people, then he would be the guy that we would all be going, what's this guy doing?
Exactly.
But he ran over there unobstructed. He didn't get in anybody's way, and he got his kid a ball. Like, I don't know. Anyway, we got to move on.
Well, just before we move on, though, about along the same lines of things. So back in the 80s in Worcester, Mass, at the old Pleasant Valley Golf Club for the tournament that was held out there, on the 17th hole, on the left side of the green was a big hill. And this was kind of predated stadium golf, right? But this left hill by the green was just packed with people all the time. And the shot was over water, and it was a 6 or 7 iron shot. And you would hear guys shouting out loud, you know, I've got a white shirt on, and they'd be shouting, hey, I bet you the guy in the white dunks it in the water today. But they'd scream it loud enough so that we could hear it. And they'd have these bets going and everything. And then we would, after you finish the hole, you'd come off the green and you'd throw a ball up at this crowd of people. There may be 200-300 people up there. And one year, I think it was 1983, one of the guys threw a ball up, and somebody up higher dove to get the ball. And he tumbled over 2 or 3 people, and he broke 2 legs and an arm of other people. And that put the kibosh on it. We weren't allowed to throw balls up there the next year. So
yeah, that sounds like, yeah. Well, hey, Doig, you know what? Ultimately, it's like anything like that in life. One moron ruins it for everybody else. And unfortunately, there you go, because you don't want to get into the liability issues. It's unfortunate.
Right.
And that's what happens. Well, look, I want to talk now because, we talked a little bit about your Leafs. We love that. We love that you got to get that in there, Clarky. I know that you're anxious about it. Okay.
I can't wait.
And we're talking about some things that are missing. Well, I wonder which roster in this year's Ryder Cup at Bethpage Black, going to be unbelievable. September 23rd to 28th, I believe. It's going to be insane. I wonder which of these rosters is going to be wondering, who was missing from our team that we maybe overlooked that we didn't take. And let's start right now, gentlemen, with the United States. And we'll take a look at the initial bit of their roster here.
Graphics.
Well, look.
Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
Well, I'll get it back for you. I want to make sure that we've got this in a good way here. All right. I want to start with the United States roster. Let's have a peek at this.
Yes.
This is like he's the best producer that this show's had since Adam.
Okay, I was gonna say don't say ever, because we love our boy Adam Oliveira, our longtime producer. We wish him well. Listen, I'm doing the best I can here. I'm not like you, Clarky. This isn't awesome. Prime time. I'm doing my thing. Okay. We're all learning together.
Let me just start here. Okay.
Yes.
Where is Patrick Cantlay's hat?
Well,
because it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. It's adjustable, but it doesn't fit. Are we going to see the same crap again this year from this slow poke?
Xander doesn't have one on either.
I know. I see that, but
they're boys. Because
he doesn't get paid, right? He doesn't get paid. You don't get paid for this.
Xander will wear the hat. Hat. He wore it last time. Patrick will not wear the hat, I can guarantee you. But let's take a look at these rosters.
Fit. Sorry, just let me go on a little rant here.
Okay.
He says his hat doesn't fit. It's adjustable. You can see there's snapback hats. And none of the reporters in the room when he said that challenged that.
Yeah, go figure, right?
Like, come on.
Yeah,
I'm done.
It.
I'm done with the rant.
Yeah.
This guy
I can't figure that one out either.
This guy should get penalized every time he plays.
And I love that the Europe hats off to your bank account. It was great. And obviously the last edition of this tournament, Team Europe won. Rory was electric. It was an unbelievable tournament. Team Europe's never beat the U.S. on U.S. soil. It's actually extremely rare to win on foreign soil in this tournament, and the U.S. is looking to keep that rolling. We got my guy, Sammy Burns. Patrick, I can't wear a hat, can't lay. Bryson DeChambeau, no one's shocked by these guys. Harris English, love that guy, very popular guy. Great to see him make this roster, of course. Yeah. Ben Griffin, Russ Henley, Colin Morikawa, who we all know I love, but he hurts me. He hurts me. And Xander Schauffele. And then, of course, we move into the other section here. JJ Spawn, who was just such a great story this year, winning a huge tournament. No surprise to see the number one player on the planet there in Mr. Scheffler. JT, who did bounce back, won a big tournament himself this year, had a bit of a bounce back, but we petered off toward the end of the year. He still makes the team. And of course, Cam Young, who is, one of the more consistent players on tour. And then Keegan Bradley back as the captain. Doig, as you look at this U.S. roster, what are your thoughts on it? And is there a name that sticks out to you that's missing that you would have taken?
As far as a name missing, no. I actually think Keegan did a really good job of his picks. I mean, obviously you have your first six that qualify, and then he had 6 picks. And I thought he did a good job of picking the right guys. There was a couple guys that he bypassed, but I don't think they're ready.
Patrick
I don't
Reed's
have the list right in front of me.
Patty Reed, old foot wedge.
But
don't say that.
Patrick Reed, Patrick Reed didn't play good golf this year.
I know.
So
but here's the big one. He overlooked himself. Do you think that was the right move?
Yeah, 100%.
Because there was a lot of speculation he was going to play.
Yeah, but I think that being the captain, that's what he was picked for.
No, I agree.
It's a really tough job. And here's the thing. If he picks himself and puts himself out first and goes out and he throws a egg out there,
right,
then it looks bad. Right?
I agree.
Now, if he goes out and wins his match, then he looks great. But if he throws an egg up and plays poorly, and maybe not even plays poorly, but say he goes up and he because it's blind when they're sending them out, he doesn't know who he's sending out against. Maybe he sends out and he ends up playing Rory and Rahm in the first match and gets his butt kicked, even though he played well. It still looks bad, right? Because people would speculate and say, okay, he's got too much on his plate. He's got to be worried about this. He's got to be worried about that. And then, as the matches end in the morning, the captains meet to get their teams ready and their picks ready for the afternoon matches. Well, if he's out on the golf course playing, now he's got to designate one of the co-captains to do that job for him, or all those picks have to be done even earlier in his book, right? But maybe one of those guys that he's picked for the afternoon lays an egg in the morning match and you don't want to use him. You got to get him out. But the co-captain doesn't know what Keegan really wants to do. So then they end up sending the guy back out again and he lays an egg again in the afternoon. So I think there's just too many things that could go wrong by picking himself to be the captain. I think it was a wonderful decision on his part not to pick himself.
No Brooks Koepka.
Someone said to me the other day they're going to regret not taking Brooksy, and I was like, Spieth. Are you out of your mind? Brooks Koepka is a ghost of himself right now, and like, God love the guy. He's an incredible golfer.
He shows up when the big
that's the thing he does. He shows up in the majors. He shows up in the Ryder Cup. Yeah, he was pretty close in a couple of the majors. Jordan Spieth, I wouldn't have even been on my radar to pick him. He's not.
What's wrong with him, Doigy? When you watch him play, because 5-6 years ago, he's not old. Because 5-6 years ago, when he first burst onto the scene, this guy looked like a prodigious talent. And I think that talent is still buried in there somewhere, but it's buried under one of the worst things you can have as a golfer. And I'm not talking from experience here, but it's self-doubt, it looks like to me. And I've read a lot about how he is really fiddled with his swing in weird ways. When you watch him, what's up with this guy?
Well, I've never been a proponent of his grip. I think his grip is too weak. What do you mean? Problems. So the positioning of his hands on the golf club, his top hand or his left hand faces the target too much. And I think that leads to inconsistencies in the golf swing. This is a very good question from you, Ryan. So I have a friend of mine who's a world-class teacher. And when Jordan Spieth first came out, we talked about it because he started winning right away and he was winning majors. And he made a comment to me and he said, this guy's going to be really good for about 4 or 5 years, and then he's going to disappear. And here we are in year 6 or 7 or whatever, and he's been gone for 2 years. So this teacher that I won't mention because I don't want to throw him under the bus, but he said that Jordan Spieth is going to be a bit of a flash in the pan for 4 or 5 years, and then he'll just kind of disappear and kind of be in the background. And that's exactly what's happening. So it is. He talked about his golf swing. He built that comment around Jordan's grip and his swing and everything, and said, you know what, it's not going to hold up long term. And that's what I see happening. It's not holding up long term. I mean, he went through a period of time in the last year and a half where he couldn't find the fairways. You can't play the PGA Tour if you can't hit it in the fairway.
Didn't he have surgery, or did you say that?
He had a wrist surgery and he kind of said that that's part of the problem. But to me,
I'm sure it could be.
And it could be. But to me, the positioning of his left hand on the golf club is bad. He needs
Was it his left wrist? Maybe
well, it could be it. Right?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not in his inside circle, so I don't know that. I'm just
for sure. It's one of the more perplexing questions in pro golf for sure, because to see the fall off like that, I mean, the biggest thing that stuck out to me too is like his wedge play. When he was winning those tournaments, when he's first on the scene, he was one of the best players. The one year, I believe it was 2017 or 18, he was number 1 on the tour in recovery strokes 100%. out of the rough and out of bunkers. And his wedges are like, he can't. It looks like a cheese grater out there, Doigy.
But a lot of that came in the early years. A lot of that came because he was a phenomenal putter, right? Yeah. So his wedge game was solid, but he was a great putter, right? He was. It doesn't matter how good your wedge game is if you can't make that 6, 8, 10, 12 footer on a consistent basis. It doesn't matter, right? So, and he was a great putter, and now he's just a solid putter. right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's one of the issues. The other thing, though, I see too, and I've seen it over the years. Look, other than your top players, your Tiger Woods and your Jack Nicklaus and your Nick Faldo and, a few, after guys win a few majors, they slowly kind of fade away, right? Like you think about Curtis Strange, he won 2 U.S. Opens and then really did nothing after that, right? Andy North won 2 U.S. Opens. He won one other tournament in his whole career, right? You think about Lee Janzen won 2 U.S. Opens. Really didn't do too much, made a solid living his whole career, but it wasn't like he was knocking tournaments off left, right, and center. And I think part of it has to do with, you become a major champion, you get pulled in 1,000 different directions, and your time gets used up. And they don't work at it as hard because they don't have the time to do it. Maybe they start a family after they've won those majors. And now all of a sudden their focus isn't just golf, it's family, it's the obligations that they've got through sponsors and things like that. And I can speak to that through my friend Todd Hamilton, who won the Open Championship in 2004 at Troon. And we talked about it after he had won the next year. He really started to struggle. And I asked him about it, and he said, well, Doig, I used to show up at the golf course, an hour before my tee time. It took me 5-10 minutes to walk through the locker room, get out to the range and start warming up. And I was good to go. And after I won the Open Championship, it would take me 45 minutes to an hour to get from the parking lot to the driving range. So now I had to build that into my routine. So instead of leaving the house, at 7 a.m, I was leaving the house at 6 a.m. to go through my routine correctly to get ready for the round. And I see that happening with a lot of guys once they become big major champions and they get pulled in too many directions.
Yeah, it can certainly happen to the best of them. And I think that is an apt description of part of Spieth's problem. And I don't know, we'll see if he can get it back on the rails. Quickly, before we look at the Europe roster, which I know Doigie's really excited about because there's a guy on there that he really likes. I want to ask you your opinion on this. I think, and I don't think it's a shock or a galaxy-brained take on my part to say this, I really do feel like the X factor for the U.S. team is Bryson.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. I mean, if you watched his YouTube video stuff in the last couple of weeks with the Bentley that he gave away,
it's crazy.
He gave away a yellow Bentley worth $325,000. He took a ping pong ball and made it in a shot cup, a plastic shot cup, up on the balcony of his second floor of his house from inside the living room. And it took him 11 days to do it, but he did it. And then he had a live stream thing on his platform. And if you were on live and your name came up, he gave the Bentley away. You got to love him. I mean, he's getting, his social media is off the charts. He's got like something like 11 million views.
He knows how to do it right. No doubt about it.
He's
next level.
Right? He's next level. And
talk about a heel turn.
Right. And I mean, I've fallen in love with him. I think he's great. I think he'll be great for the game. It's going to be fun to watch him play at Bethpage Black because he bombs it. He's going to bomb and gouge. The crowds there are going to absolutely be in love with him. And I think Bryson could be a changing dynamic for Team USA.
I certainly agree.
I would still like to see Europe win. But when you really sit down and break it all down.
Do you want to see, just quickly, do you want to see Europe win or do you want to see the Americans lose? Seriously.
Both.
Bit of both. Yeah.
Both.
Bit of both. Okay. And you know what, the guy, there's only a couple guys on the U.S. team that I don't like. But I virtually like everybody on the European team. They're good guys. I mean,
we haven't even seen it. Why don't we put that up? Let's get the graphics going.
Let's have a gander at it. Let's take a peek here at Team Europe.
No, look at the first guy is your guy, Ian.
Doigie.
The guy's a stud. The guy's a stud.
Alberg.
He'll be number one in the world. He'll be number one in the world.
I agree with you. Someday I think Ludwig is good enough to do that, followed by another one of my guys. I know he didn't have a very consistent year. We want to see a little turnaround, but I love Matty Fitzpatrick. He can dial it up when it matters. Tommy Fleetwood, thank God the guy finally got it done. Yeah. Everybody was so excited for Fleet. He is just the man. Tyrrell Hatton, who had an interesting press conference the other day. I don't know if you guys saw the conference where he was. Clarky, did you see where he was?
I didn't see it. Angry man is what I call him. He's a little angry.
He gets angry, but he's very entertaining. And he was talking about receiving the call that he was on the team and the partying that he did with John Rahm after. He went through a list of drinks. I don't know how he remembered all this because he was in rough shape. But Tyrrell Hatton's on there.
You know what? I love him. I love Hatton because
he's so entertaining.
It's a running commentary when he's playing, and when he hits a bad shot, he keeps me in stitches just listening to him. It's funny as hell.
It is fun to watch, but he is angry.
So, he is a lot of fun. Absolutely. Rasmus Højgaard, of course, getting onto the team over his brother from the last time out. It's an interesting story. Victor Hovland, who had a nice bounce back toward the end of the year, a guy that we know has all the talent in the world. Everybody's favorite guy, Shane Lowry.
Shane looks like he's lost about 50 pounds in that picture.
In that picture, he does, doesn't he? Yeah.
He's looking good. He's maybe drinking a couple Guinness Zeros instead. We love that. But I love you guys know I love Shane Lowry and Robbie McIntyre too. Just another beauty. Round out the team here. Obviously, well, look at that guy. It's Doigie's man crush. It's Rory McIlroy. John Rahm is back, and look, Rahm is a guy that you could say much the same of Brooks Koepka. Don't really know what his game is like on most days over in Live, but when he shows up at big events, he does big things, and he did last time at the Ryder Cup. Yeah. Justin Rose is just as reliable a war horse as you can have out there. Sepp Straka had a really great year. I mean, almost a coming out party for Sepp this year. A lot of people raised their eyes to his game. Luke Donald's going to captain the team. When you look at that group, Doigie, what are your thoughts? Is there anybody missing?
Again, I think it's a really good team. I think the picks were done correctly by Luke Donald. If you sit down and you look at the rankings, the world rankings between the two teams on paper, the U.S. is a stronger team because they have more players in that top 50 of the world or whatever. But I just love the way the European guys meld together, hang out together. They're a family. You know, the fact that we've already talked about Patrick Cantlay not wearing the hat because he doesn't get paid tells you something about what the camaraderie is in that room. No matter what they say outside, that's something that hurts the camaraderie of the team. And if there's a player in there that looks at Patrick Cantlay and says, guy's an ass because he won't wear the hat and he doesn't because we don't pay him, they're not going to be a very good team together right then and there. That doesn't happen in the European room ever. They love each other. They're just one big happy family. Yeah. And, I played over there and, it was a different time. So things are changed. But when I played over there, we all went out and had a beer after the round. Like, you know, and you hung out together, right? I was hanging out with Mark Mullen and these guys and you had a few pints and you just had a good time. And it's, and I think that's why the European team melds together every year the same way. And now you're looking at this year, and what do they have? They have one rookie, Højgaard. Everybody else has played before, right? Or maybe Straka didn't play, but yeah, they're a strong team. And I think the 13th man, if you want to call him that, will be the crowd. And that might be the changing point. That might be the changing point, the crowd in New York at Bethpage Black. Because you know what? Yeah. It is going to be ruthless, absolutely ruthless. If the Europeans hit a bad shot, they are going to hear about it. They are going to hear about it. And that's the bottom line, right?
I love that. I love it.
Of course, it's one of the best, if not arguably the best part of the Ryder Cup.
Right. They need Colin Montgomery just to walk down the fairway.
How cool would that be? Because the Boo Birds would be out like crazy, wouldn't they?
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
That would be obscene.
But so much drama can happen in this event. I just hope we get that on the Sunday. I remember distinctly, I don't know what year it was, but the U.S. wives running onto the green.
Oh,
with
that was
the high heels.
Justin Leonard made the 65-foot putt.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Crenshaw was the captain. They had those ugly shirts on.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But just the drama in this event, I just hope we get some on Sunday.
I think
hope it's close.
I think it's going to be pretty close this time. I mean,
I hope so.
Europe has closed the gap and everything. I just I look at it. The one thing that probably what they're working on at Bethpage, Keegan will have a lot to say in the setup of the golf course, and I think with weather cooperating, keep it dry and firm, and get the greens as fast as they possibly can. Because the European players, as much as they play in America and they get used to it, they putt better on slower greens. Mm-hmm. They don't putt as well. The U.S. has better putters on really fast greens for the most part. Now I'm generalizing because Rory putted pretty good on fast greens this year, right? You start to
he just did it again,
and he just did again.
Won his home championship. Right?
I know, but greens are slower.
Yep, they are.
Slower. Definitely
they're slower than Bethpage.
They're slower than Bethpage is going to be, but he putted great, right? And he came to the last hole, had to make eagle in the last hole, rolled in a bomb, and then won the playoff, right? So I think he's coming in hot. I think the one thing that is a little bit different for Team Europe is their schedule is still playing, so those guys are still competing, right? They're still they played this week. A lot of them played this week. Well, the U.S., they've been done for a couple of weeks. They're not playing in anything really, right? They might play in one of the smaller events, but they're not maybe as tournament ready as the European guys will be.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, the guys that are on their roster, particularly the Brysons, the Scotties, I'm less worried about that for them. I will ask you this, though, just in closing, Doigie, because, I mean, we could talk about this tournament and the golf that's coming our way all day. Yeah. I want to ask you the same thing that I did for the U.S. team. I pinpointed Bryson as their X factor. And this might be a guy, you could go with Tommy Fleetwood, who just won, Rory, who had an incredible storybook year. We all remember what happened back in April. It was amazing. But I'm actually going to pinpoint angry guy himself. I think Tyrrell Hatton could be their X factor because I expect those other guys to play really well. With Tyrrell, you don't know what you're going to get sometimes, but when he does play well and is dialed in and isn't cursing and swearing up the golf course, he could be a guy that could win one of these matchups that tilts it in Europe's favor potentially. What do you think about that, him being their X factor?
That's a pretty good assessment because I think that he's the type of guy that it doesn't matter what the New York crowd shouts at him. He's just going to take it, and he's basically going to turn around and say, F you.
Exactly.
And he's going to chip it in or make the putt or hole one from the fairway or something because he's going to get so focused to piss them off because they're booing him and stuff that's going to be his payback. You know what? Okay, you can do whatever you want to me, but I'm just going to beat you with my golf clubs. And then I'm going to smile and smirk at you when I'm doing it.
I hope you're
right. I also think too, though, that there's nothing that the crowd there will say to him that's worse than what he says to himself.
Exactly. 100%. That's what I'm saying.
So bulletproof.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just going to hit him and kind of roll off, right?
I love it. Well, we hope that he's rolling off a bunch of clutch putts. I would love to see Europe win too. I love the guys on their team. Not that I don't like a bunch of those U.S. guys. All in all, it's going to be an incredible tournament. It always is. It's so much fun to watch. And when we watch golf, when we talk about golf, get used to it here. Our new viewers on Rogers TV, you're going to see a lot of our friend Ian Doig. Doigie, we wish you best of luck heading over to Ireland. And of course, your stint on the tour over in Australia. It's going to be amazing, brother. We're going to catch up with you when you're down under. That's going to be a lot of fun. Best of luck to you, man. We're so excited for you, dude.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I always appreciate being invited on the show. And Clarky will keep working on your game.
Yep, we sure will. The simulator construction has begun.
It has begun.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Very excited.
It's really
that's exciting, isn't it? Yeah. So.
And not only will that space become a golf simulator over at Clarky's, it's also going to become a temporary studio for this show. We're going to be doing a show from there at some point. It absolutely will be amazing.
That could be the full-time set.
anybody that follows Clarky and I on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that will realize that after many years of not seeing each other, and Clarky ran into him, and then I ran into him both on the same day. But our friend Lance Chomick, the kicker for the Argonauts for 10 years in the 90s,
yes,
right, all-time leading scorer. I had lunch with him today, actually. And with Clarky having the simulator put into the garage, Lance is 40 minutes away. We'll be able to invite Lance up to hit balls and play golf with us. We're going to do a lot more of that, keep connected with him and everything, and have Lance on the show.
Absolutely.
We're talking about
Lance will be on the show.
We'll get Lance on the show. Right?
We're thinking about making him our new golf guy because he's a golf official.
No. I'm in control of things here, and Doigie's our golf guy. That's not going to happen.
If Lance Chomick becomes the new golf guy, does that mean I become the new football guy?
No. You could be the new hockey guy.
Oh, well, there we go.
There you go.
You'll be our
shuffle.
exclusive. You'll be our exclusive Mitch Marner reporter.
Yes, that'll be awesome. How's Mitch and Paul Marner doing?
You're making me choke up.
We'll do a betting segment because he's in Vegas now called Doigie on Mitch. How about that?
I think Paul Marner is the one we should be concentrating on, but
that's okay. We don't need to do that. I don't want to get sidetracked.
That's his dad, right?
Yeah, that's his dad. Yeah.
Yeah, all right, Doigie. Well, best of luck with all of your golf endeavors. It's going to be amazing, brother. So much fun. Thanks for doing this, my friend.
Anytime. You know that. Love you guys.
I love you too, buddy. Good luck. There's our friend Ian Doig, one of the best. You're going to see a lot more of him too. There he goes. Doigie's just one of the absolute biggest beauties out there. And like I mentioned off the hop too, guys, Doigie does lessons. Ian Doig Golf Academy. Look him up on, I call it Twitter. Some of you call it X. That's fine. You're sheep if you do that. It's Twitter. Look him up. Send him a message. You can look him up online. He's a fantastic teacher. He's helped Clarky out a lot. He's helped a lot of people out, and he continues to pile up trophies. Next week, heading to Quebec, we'll keep an eye on him. He'll probably win because he's been doing that a lot lately. He is just an absolute gem, Clarky. That dude's a beaut.
There's nothing else I can say. You said it all right there. He's a beaut. Good friend.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and he's totally stiffed me for Ireland.
Well, hey,
that's okay.
He could have called me, although
if you had gone before me, that would have been the end of it. He would never be on the show here again.
I gotta say, though,
I get it. He's taking some scratch golfer. I get it. I'm not a scratch golfer. The only thing I scratch when I golf is my butt.
Okay, I'm glad. We're gonna just sail right past that, dude. Speaking of sailing past things, I'm sure that your Baltimore Ravens want to sail past what happened on Sunday night. Now, listen. I know that there were a lot of great games, and there's a lot to talk about. How about that Packers game taking down Clarky's Lions in a big divisional matchup? Looking really good, too. Micah Parsons was a freak. By the way, I won my fantasy football matchup in week 1. I know you don't care, but
no,
it's helping me get through this week, okay? It's a big
It's good.
Boost, all right?
Good.
You love 1-0 looks a lot better than 0-1, I'll tell you that.
I'm 0-2, my two teams.
Let's talk about what happened.
I should wear.
Well,
where are you going first? What are you going to talk about?
We're going to stick to the Sunday nighter, the Baltimore Buffalo game, because that's the big one. And it's a big one because of the outrageous comeback orchestrated by reigning MVP Josh Allen. Down 40-25 late in the game, this dude puts up a stat line of 2 rushing tuds, including the one that got them within 2 points, where he just jumped over top of everybody, threw for 2 tutties, took a bunch of abuse, running all over the place after Lamar and Derrick Henry were doing their run around in the early part of the game. It was a dominant first half performance from the Ravens. And then Josh Allen just gets his claws out and starts digging away. Derrick Henry with an extremely rare fumble in a big moment.
That was the TSM turning point for sure.
That was the instigating with Drury and Clarky turning point. TM.
Okay, there you go.
That was the turning point. And it was crazy to see. And then as if Josh Allen hadn't done enough, threw for 344 yards or something too on top of all this. As if that wasn't enough, the Bills defense get a big stop late in the game, force Baltimore to punt the ball back to Josh Allen with a minute left. He drives down the field, sets up the old guy, Matt Prater, to come in, who the Bills had to sign.
Before that, we can't not talk about what happened before that. When the I don't know who it was, going down, looked like he was going to score a touchdown. The Ravens guy hits his foot and tackles him at the 10-yard line. If he scores there, now Baltimore has the ball, unless the guy gets smart and goes down at the 1-yard line. But if he gets in the touchdown, if he gets a touchdown, now Baltimore gets the ball back. It's unfortunate that Baltimore made that tackle at that moment, because I was looking forward to Lamar getting the ball back and driving himself down the field to win it. But when you you don't have timeouts left, it's tough.
When you don't have timeouts, your defense can't get a stop against that freak that is Josh. And by the way, like, that's not to take away from what Lamar did in this game. He threw for a pair of tuds. He was running all over the place. And outside of that costly fumble, which proved to be much more costly, and let's give Derrick Henry a break here. At that point, when they got points off that turnover, that they still had plenty of time to win that game. They were still up by, I think, 8 points or 9 points. But Josh Allen drives him down there, sets up Matty Prater for a walk-off field goal. How in love with Buffalo, or how in love with him is Buffalo.
That was so close to being blocked.
It was,
man. Oh, my goodness.
That initial release, I see arms blocking the view of the ball, and I'm like, oh, no. Like, and how
so close. However,
turns could that game take?
As my friend Bill Waters once said, if ifs and nuts were candies and how does that go again?
Yeah.
If it's and buts were candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
We'd all have a Merry Christmas. Well, Buffalo having an early Christmas because
that's okay. I'm still happy with my Ravens selection. I still think they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Good team. A lot of people think they're winning the Super Bowl.
I still think they're going to win the Super Bowl. And
a lot of people.
We'll go from there. And then we'll see some partnership with the Bills. We still haven't really figured out what exactly is happening there. But they're getting some sort of partner. They're not going to play any games in Toronto, not with a new stadium coming up in Buffalo next year. So
I don't think they can ever do that.
What happens? No, they can't.
I went to some of those.
Well, what will be the partnership then? Like, it's kind of strange what's happening there.
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm really not sure. I'm sure we'll learn some more details. I certainly hope for the people of Buffalo, who as sports fans have been through enough, that it doesn't involve the Bills coming up here and playing games.
It can't. I don't think it can, but
I just personally don't think.
I don't know.
At best a preseason game. And keep in mind, like, it's fair to mention, when I saw them play the Bears and I saw them play the Seahawks, and the Seahawks game was 54-3 Seattle. This is back when the Bills were quite bad. It'd be different with what they are now, but you can't take Josh Allen away from those home fans for a game. You can't do that. The guy's a freak. It's just unbelievable what he's able to orchestrate. We'll see what this partnership involves. I'm sure it'll be some sort of cross-marketing thing where maybe the Bills come up here for like some events or something, like some signings.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't either.
They show up at like a TFC game and they're there, and there's James Cook and Khalil Shakir, and I don't know. We'll see. But I don't agree with it being games.
The Argos should have played a couple of games in Buffalo next year when they have to vacate their stadium and they're playing in enemy territory.
That'd make more sense. They'd have to extend the end zone, of course, and make the field wider. But
whatever. Just play NFL rules for those games. It's fine.
Yeah, that'd be great. You'll never get your boatmen back. Our boatmen, pardon me.
Correct.
Our boatmen, CFL season.
Kind of hot. They're only a couple points away from a playoff spot. Here we go. Just get in. That's my motto. Just get in.
They're clinging. Dinwiddie's got them right there. Head coach Dinwiddie. It's we'll see. It'll be interesting. I want to quickly, just if you'll indulge me for a second, Clarky, just quickly before we wrap the show up. we're recording the show today. It's World Suicide Prevention Day. It's a big day on the calendar for myself. I just wanted to share that it's important that, if you're struggling out there, you get help. I've done it. I've gone to therapy. I know lots of people who have, done other stuff there. Therapy's not necessarily for everybody, but there's lots of different things that you can do. But the number one thing you can't do is sit there in silence and not tell somebody about it, and just make sure that that there are people out there that want to listen. And that's the other big thing too. If somebody approaches you, a good friend of yours, family member, and they approach you with something, listen, don't be judgmental. This is, a vulnerable thing to talk about, but it's an important thing. So you can make a huge difference for somebody just by sitting there and listening. And I'm certainly thinking about that guy right there. That's my dad. We lost him in 2010 when he took his own life. According to the World Health Organization, 720,000 people a year dying by suicide. Men die by it at twice the rate of women. We got to change this, guys. The numbers worldwide have improved. The rate has gone down, but here in North America, it's actually ticking up. And we got to do something about that. I would love to have my dad around. That was actually a photo they took of him in the local paper back in the day. He didn't want it, but my dad saved a man's life. He saw an accident in front of him, and he pulled a man from a burning pickup truck, risking his own life. And he got an award from the municipality and from the Solicitor General back at the time, which is an amazing thing. And he was featured in the paper. He didn't want to be, get accolades from it. And of course, people with laser focus can tell he's of course wearing his favorite Brooks and Dunn t-shirt in this photo. That's my dad. And I miss him. I wish that he had reached out. And if you're in a similar position, don't leave your friends and family sitting around wondering what could have been, man. Reach out, talk to people. They want to hear you. It's an important thing, Clarky, and us men, we got to do a better job. We got to realize we can talk about this stuff,
Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to get emotional, but you've been there for me the last couple of months.
So 100%, brother.
So is Doig.
Yeah. Yep.
It's been tough.
Yeah, it's been tough, buddy. And we're thinking about Sue right now, obviously. And my dad, and I'm always going to be there for you. It's an emotional thing. That's what's important about this. We got to realize it's okay. It's okay to share how we're feeling with each other, guys. It matters. Yeah. And you matter, and you matter to me, guy. I love you, buddy. I'm sorry to get everybody crying at the end of the show here. I'm sorry, Rogers, but it's important.
Maybe you can explain what happened, because I can't. But
well, for those that don't know, Clarky, he lost his wife Sue, our beloved friend Sue, earlier. Just a few weeks ago. Sue was diagnosed with cancer earlier this year, and unfortunately, we lost her. And it's been tough for my guy over here and Sue's whole family. It's been tough. And we're sticking by this guy. And that's what's important. You got to tell people when things are tough. You got to reach out. It's easy to be there when things are great. But when things are tough, and it's tough for my guy over there right now, and we're there for you. And everybody's here for you, buddy. We love you. Yeah. And for everybody watching right now that's maybe going through something similar, it's not easy to lose people. We don't want to lose you, though. And if you're struggling with something, it would mean an awful lot to me, my family, anybody who's lost somebody that way, for you to reach out and get help. All right. And that's the message. We love you. You're loved. Do something about it. Okay. You can watch this show on our friends Rogers TV. We're going to be airing in the Owen Sound region before attack games. You can find us in the London and Kitchener regions as well, all over Rogers TV. Find us all over your favorite podcast apps. Follow us at Instigating Pod on socials. We really appreciate your support. We'll be back next week with a happier, I promise, a happier end to Instigating with Clarky and Drury. Love you, buddy.